Yes, guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to more GBFC, the official second channel of the George Benson Football Channel. If you are new around here, make sure you do subscribe, because today we're going to take a look at Saturday's football in the Premier League. Big days for Arsenal, Man City, Bournemouth, and of course that means that Chelsea are affected by this as well. And I want to discuss today, obviously as a Chelsea fan, I want to talk about Arsenal and Man City specifically, because both the matches that Arsenal won 2-0 away at Leicester, we're going to go through that game a bit. Man City destroying Newcastle United at the Etihad 4-0. What we saw from both of these teams, which look, if we look at the table now, Arsenal are now 10 points ahead of Chelsea. Man City are now above us in the table, only 1 point ahead. But when you look at this form, 3 wins in their last 5 games, but 3 in their last 4, Marmoush, the new boy, comes in and scores an absolutely incredible hat-trick yesterday. It doesn't bode very well, does it? Bournemouth go to Southampton, and as you can see, Southampton are very firmly bottom of the table. They're going down, but even Bournemouth are now above Chelsea in the Premier League table. Liverpool are top. They play Wolverhampton Wanderers tonight, and of course, there is Tottenham versus Manchester United. And just to confirm where those guys are in the table, you can see there, it's about the 14th and 15th. Football is wild. If you were the same age as me, if you're 30 years old, you don't remember it being this peak for Manchester United in particular. Spurs, I remember they've always had those times where they've been down there, but this is pretty atrocious. They still have a plus 11 goal difference though. But anyway, let's take a little look first of all then at Leicester 0, Arsenal 2. Mikel Merino scoring twice for Arsenal off of the bench. You can see the momentum chart here, absolutely dominant, pretty much for the whole 90 minutes for Arsenal. Ethan Nwaneri gets the man of the match. You can see the player ratings here. The front three, if you look across here, Nwaneri, Trossard, Sterling. This is how you deal with having your attackers out there. Arsenal, the same as Chelsea, right? They do not have a striker available. But look at this. This is what Mikel Arteta had to say about Arsenal's chances of winning the league. So you've got a team here to bring it up again. This is not the strongest possible Arsenal 11 with that front three of the bang average, past it, Raheem Sterling, Trossard, who I think scored 2 goals all season, and then Nwaneri, who's a youngster who's come in. But when Arsenal and Mikel Arteta are talking about, we want to chase down Liverpool, we've got nothing else to go for but that, it makes you wonder, doesn't it? Like, Chelsea was second in the league just before Christmas. We went to Goodison Park. We drew that game 0-0. Not even a dreadful result, bad performance, but then the catalyst from that, it's been a capitulation ever since. But when Chelsea talk about what their goals and ambitions are for the season, we're not even expected top 4, yet no wonder Arsenal are now very much, if we look at that Premier League table, Arsenal are very much in the race here. Liverpool have still got to play Arsenal. They've still got to play a resurgent Manchester City. And Arsenal are only 4 points behind. So I guess a big question that I want to ask is, how is it that Arsenal are able to sustain a title challenge? Well, obviously, if we look at this team, we're talking about a manager that's been there now for many years. Arsenal have been around the conversation of potentially winning a title for some time. But when you look at this team, all right, Saliba and Gabriel, this is arguably the best centre-back partnership in the Premier League. Some might argue that it's Van Dijk, Konate, but I'm giving it to Saliba and Gabriel. Lewis Skelly's come in at left-back. He's done an amazing job. Brilliant young talent. Jurriën Timber, I think, is a solid player. Look at this midfield. Odegaard, Partey, and Rice. When Chelsea were playing at their best, Enzo, Lavia, Caicedo were all in the team. But what Arsenal have managed to do here is, with Thomas Partey being that reinforcer, Declan Rice had a good game, I think. 6.9 was a bit unfair. I watched this game, and I just have a feeling, right, that this Arsenal midfield, with that protection of that Arsenal back line, I think the fact they don't have a striker isn't actually going to be that important, because I don't think they're going to concede many goals, which means, if we bring the Premier League table back up again, I think we're going to see enough from Arsenal where it's not going to be the prettiest football. It might not be the most entertaining, and it might not be getting off your seat every day or every game if you're a neutral fan. Obviously, I'm not getting off my seat for Arsenal ever. You guys know that, but I do think that there's a lot of football still to be played. And I do think that this Arsenal lineup that we've got here is just so solid. And if you look at the bench, right, Mikel Merino comes off the bench and scores 2 goals in the last 10 minutes. 2 brilliant goals, by the way. The first one's a header. The second one, he's arriving in the box, doing what a striker would do. And that is what a good manager does. This is why Arsenal are everything that I wish Chelsea were right now. They've got a manager that can come up with a solution. And I'm not saying Maresca won't find the solution, but it doesn't look like he will at the moment, does it? But what Arteta has done here is he's taken this situation in the front three. You got Sterling, who, I don't know how he's even playing for Arsenal, to be quite honest. Trossard through the middle is not a striker. 2 goals all season. Wanyeri, who is a really good player. That's his first Arsenal assist. He's got a lot of goals, though, already. Like this here, when you look at the rest of the bench, that isn't going to win you a game of football, apart from maybe if you want to, secure things if you're already winning. But Mourinho has made the difference. So it's about Arteta instructing Mourinho of where to be. Get yourself involved. You're a big guy. Go and be a menace going forward. And that's exactly what happened for Arsenal. So if we take a little look now at Manchester City, this Newcastle, I don't know what they're doing. They tried to take the game to City. It didn't work. They didn't create anything. Man City was so dominant in this one. You can see here from the heat map. Newcastle hardly had a sniff. I think Isak had one good chance that was deflected and almost went. But this guy, all right, Omar Marmoush. You guys can't see the heat map. We're not going to talk about it and go into it too much. But the difference here between Man City and Chelsea and why Man City are everything that I wish Chelsea were right now is because of this, right? You got a January where you're in a position that you don't want to be in. You're having a bad season by your standards. So you go and bring in a centre-back. Kusanov, bad against Chelsea for about 10 minutes. He's already arrived now. Scored the other day in the Cup. Gets a 7 rating against Newcastle in this game. Nico Gonzalez, another midfielder. Bought in because you needed midfield reinforcements. Omar Marmoush. Hat-trick. And look at this, guys. Ederson, with this through ball, plays it to Marmoush, who lobs the goalkeeper from this position. The second goal, he scores from here. What we're talking about here is a player that has the initiative, the ability to create something when it doesn't look like it could be on, who's got the intelligence of how to use his body. I was so impressed watching Omar Marmoush. And I think, again, when you're talking about this level of quality, you've got Erling Haaland, who doesn't even have to be the man to score the hat-trick anymore. What City have done is take the pressure off of this man's shoulders by bringing this man into the club. Omar Marmoush will go down as one of the best signings of the season, because what I think he's going to do for Manchester City is they're going to be able to find a way to outscore teams, because defensively, this isn't the best back line you're ever going to see. Losing Kyle Walker, I think, is a big one. Rico Lewis can do the job there. Kusanov, I think that partnership between him and Stones is going to evolve. Gvardiol, always questions, is he really a left back? So I think City will still concede. But now that the burden of the goals isn't all on Haaland, I think they're just going to be able to outscore teams again. And I think Newcastle were just blown away by Man City. And that was a game where whoever would have won that would have gone in the top 4. But I think the fact that City did it so convincingly, I think this is a turning point for Manchester City. I really do. I think from here, despite only losing to Real Madrid and being 2-1 up with 5 minutes to go just a few days before, I just think City are ready to go up a notch now. And they always do it around this time of the season. So, as we can see here with the Premier League table again, City now in 4th. They're a point ahead of Chelsea, a point ahead of Bournemouth, 3 now ahead of Newcastle. That was such a big game at the Etihad yesterday. But I also want to take a look here at Bournemouth because, again, absolute dominance. A 3-1 win at Southampton. We're not going to talk about this too much here because this is such an expected win for this Bournemouth side. Christie got himself a goal and an assist as well. When you look at this team here, and again, Bournemouth are everything I wish Chelsea could be, because they've got Kepa in goal, which is an insult to injury in itself, if I'm being very, very honest with you. But Zabani, what a signing. Howson, what a signing. Milos Kerkez, brilliant left back, to be honest. Tyler Adams, like Chelsea will link with him. Christie in there. But this is a team of very unknown players. 4-2-3-1 system, but Iraola has absolutely worked wonders with this Bournemouth team. And I think the big difference here, to round up this video, as to why Arsenal, Man City, Bournemouth are everything right now that I just wish Chelsea were, but we're not. Arsenal, it's all about that elite mentality. It's about having a team that has a mixture of experience, but even through injury, they've got a manager that can find a solution, find a way, even with key players out. Man City, it is to bring it up again. Look, like you go in January when you're having a bad season and you buy 1, 2, 3 spine players, experience, quality, or not necessarily all experience, but quality. Bringing in players in positions that they need to and addressing problems as opposed to just like continuing with an unproven model, continuing to sign kids. And then Bournemouth, it is just, again, wow. For Iraola to be getting 4th in the Premier League right now out of this squad is just absolutely incredible. And it's about that mentality where for Bournemouth, right, they've got something to fight for now. There's a reason that those players are going to go out there every single week now and give everything because they're about to make history for their football club. For Chelsea, don't worry about it. We're not expected top 4, so we can just go out there and just, every game, collapse, capitulate. Man City, they're embarrassed. They address their embarrassment. Look at the results that flow. Arsenal, it's a winning machine, or at least it's a we don't lose machine and we don't give up machine. Everything that Chelsea are not. All of those 3 teams. So, yeah, that was the Premier League football that I wanted to discuss from Saturday. There will be videos that come out from the Liverpool game tonight and also the Man United Spurs mid-off. I'll just remind you again in case you forgot. It's 15th at home to 14th in the Premier League table. We absolutely love to see it. But if you guys enjoy this, I'm going to be doing this for the Champions League. I'm going to do this every Premier League game week. I'm going to talk about everything that isn't Chelsea. But of course, I understand that a lot of you probably still do follow Chelsea. So if there is relevance to Chelsea and a narrative there, I will obviously discuss it from that narrative because, as you can see there and here, that's my club. It's who I support. But brilliant win for Arsenal. Brilliant win for Man City. Great win for Bournemouth. Chelsea are in 6th, and I don't think we're going to get any higher than that for the rest of the season. That's my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments down below. Subscribe if you are new. I'll see you in the next one.